what's up? It's your boy Arlie Beats, and as you can tell by the name of the video, I'm basically gonna be showing you guys different ways to manipulate samples because, you know, these sample packs are very famous. Lots of people are gonna have the same, samples that you have access to. So you need to find a way to flip them. Make them sound as unique and as individualistic as possible. Individualistic. The first step in, making a sample based beat, believe it or not, is actually like finding a sample or like getting a bunch of sample packs you can use. I have quite a few over here. It's like I've got like 25 gigs worth of like samples and sample packs or whatever. Yeah, basically you can even use this, which is like Fallen by the Kid Plug. It's free. I got this. It's free. You can never go wrong with free. Anyways, like, yeah, so ooh. Wow, I like that. Okay, I'm just gonna use this. This right here is at 132 BPM. What a coincidence, right? It's like already at 132 BPM. Alright, so I'm just gonna like chop this up, get rid of the extra tail because I want it to be a 9-bar loop. 8-bar loop. Cut that out and send this to mixer track 1. Oh nah, mixer track 2 actually, because 1's being occupied by my microphone, which, if any of you are wondering, is the Audio Technica AT2020. It's dope. All I can say about that. And then I'm just gonna like route this to channel 2 as well. Boom. So our sample is in the mixer now. Okay. And then this is what it sounds like. It's right here. Okay. Basically, the first thing I like to do is like pitch shift, my sample. So this one right here, I don't even know what key this sample is in. So what I use is this weird application that I got for free. I don't know what it's called. Oh yeah, it's called Key Finder. I might put a link in the description. Actually, I will put a link in the description for this. Y'all can just go grab it. It's free. And basically what I do is I take the sample, drag it into this app program, and click on Run Batch Analysis. And then it tells you what key the sample is in, which is A minor. So now I know that it's in A minor, right? Perfect. So the sample's in A minor. And now when you shift it, you know what you're doing. Like when you pitch shift it. What I like to do is I like to shift it down like 1200 cents, which is basically 12 semitones. And what a semitone is, it's a half note. So if we're on C5, like you can see here, a half note would be C sharp, which is this right here. So if you're trying to get from C5 to C6, you would have to go up 12 cents, or 1200 cents, or 12 semitones, which is basically 12 half notes. You get, like, if you count, you will see that it's 12 over here. So I'm just gonna shift this down 1200 cents, see what that sounds like. It's gonna be really dark. Right. So after you do that, that's dope. I like to add gross beat. Everybody uses gross beat. I mean, there's another one called Halftime, but you gotta pay for that. I'm broke right now, so I can't really. Okay, basically, like, I like to use half speed. Everyone does too, and yeah, I'm not alone on this one. One of those. Yeah. So when you put half speed on it, just know that if you pitch something down and you put gross beat half speed on it, it gets even darker. Like. See, the sample sounds different already. And basically you can mess with the time knob over here, which is basically like a dry wet knob, which allows you to to decide how much of the wet or dry signal you want to pull through, like how much of your original sample or the effect you want to push through. So I'm just gonna push this down to like 70% over here and see what that sounds like. And another thing I like to do is add another gross beat. Go to momentary, you know, click on this arrow, go to momentary, and I like to do this, just like go in the middle here, click in the dot, and push this down all the way to like here, and it gives this, it's like this reverse type thing. Wait, just listen to it. Yeah, I love that. Okay, I'm just gonna move this down to like 40%. See what that sounds like. And add some EQ to it as well. Yeah, basically with the EQ right now, I'm just gonna remove a lot. Well, yeah, I just drag this down over here, because when you get into like parametric EQ too, you get these single dots just below these I forget what you call these band types. So I drag this down till it's like 4 squares, and then I move this to like where I like it, you know. I believe this is called a high pass filter, which is like counterintuitive. So if you're dragging out the lows, it's called a high pass filter, and if you're dragging out the highs, it's called a low pass filter. It's a mind-boggling concept. Anyway, like, yeah. So I'm cutting it off at about 150 hertz, just to leave space for like bass line or whatever. And now already I know that the sample's in A minor, right? What I like to do is go into sampler, which is usually the first thing. Like if you have an empty project, sampler is going to be the first thing on there. So I like to go into sampler. It's in A minor, right? And I use this thing, I don't know what it's called. It's called stamp. So you go over here, it's called stamp, you click on it, and you press Aeolian, which is basically the minor scale, because this is an A minor. And just know that when you click this, only once is going to be checked. Just uncheck that, right? So that's going to allow you to like continuously add these what do you call them, chord stamps or whatever, or scale stamps. Yeah, so basically I'm putting this in A minor, so everything, and like make sure that your ghost channels are activated as well, so you can see like the scale on the piano roll of every instrument you add. And to do that, you just click over here, I think, and then you go to view, well, not view, is it stamps, helpers. Yeah, you go to helpers, and then you click ghost channels, or you just press Alt and V. That's the easy way to do it. So I'm putting everything here in A minor. All right. Okay, let me just like add quick drums to this. Maybe even check how long the video is. I use Flashback Recorder. Okay, it's 9 minutes long. I use Flashback Recorder to record my screen. It's dope app. Anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna add some drums to this. Some quick drums, demonstration purposes. Kick. I'm gonna use this kick. I love this kick. It's my favorite kick. I also like sneakers. Okay. Now I'm gonna find a hi-hat, just a random one. Hi-hat number 6. Put that in there, and a snare. Perfect. Okay. Slide that right underneath my sample, you know what I'm saying? Okay, and it's like fill in each 2 steps. This is how I make my drums, and then I don't like to use claps. I don't know why. Maybe I should. already sounds amazing. Okay, and then I'm just gonna like highlight everything over here. You just press Control and you drag on top over here, and it's gonna make it red. And then you press Control B to duplicate it. If you're using like Ableton Live, I think it's Control D or something. Yeah, but anyways, I also have Ableton Live. This is right there, dope software. Anyway, like the hi-hats are already filling in the 9 steps. I mean the 8 bars, so I don't need to duplicate those. Now I'm just gonna add a kick pattern. That's literally it. So let's just find the 808 sample that we like. We know that the beat's in A minor, yeah. I like this 808. Okay. So if you're trying to figure out what key the 808's in, you just right click over here on the waveform, and you press edit, and that's gonna take you into Edison, which is this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sample thingy majiggy. Okay, once you're in Edison, you right click again, you go into regions, which is right here, and then you go all the way down to detect pitch regions, and it's telling us that this is in C sharp, right? C sharp. So if it's in C sharp, you go over here. This would be C sharp, yeah. And we know that our 808 is in A minor, yeah? So how many semitones would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 semitones, right? So then you click, it was over here. Well, originally it was on C5, and then I moved it to C sharp just so I could know what I was doing. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to A, which is 4 semitones, right? So then you come back to this main window and you pitch it down 4 cents, and there you go. Your 808 is pitched in the correct like key as your sample and whatever. So I'm just gonna get like a real quick 808 pattern going. Oh yeah, pitch this down. Add some variation, you know, some flavor, some sauce, some water. Skrr. Okay. Okay. Now that you have that, I'm just gonna quickly mix it up. But you can tell like it sounds completely different. That's just one way to, you know, sauce it up, make your sample sound completely unique. Use gross beat, pitch it up, pitch it down, do whatever you want. You don't even have to stick to the same key. You can just like completely switch it up into a different key, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all up to you. It's all up to what you prefer. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. So we're going on 16 minutes. I'm just gonna mix this a little bit. Yeah, so what I do is click on everything. You right click on everything that's not in the mixer, right? You highlight it, and then you head to an empty mixer track. You right click again, and then you go to channel routing, and then you select this one right here, which is route selected channels starting from this track. Boom. and then everything's in the mixer. Everything's beautiful. Especially, never mind. Okay, so everything's in the mixer right here. And what I like to do to my snare to make it pop out, which is like a secret of mine, I use Fruity Multiband Compressor. Put it right on the snare, and then I use this preset called Mastering 6dB. Boom, and it's just gonna make your snare pop out like just this. Boom, it's louder. I mean, I'll turn it off just to make it. Turn it off. Tell me that's not nice. And then for the kick, quickly I add like what's this called? Fruity Soft Clipper. Boom. Move down the post and the threshold a little bit, and then head to this window right here that you get by left clicking on a sample, and then increase the volume over here, which is essentially a preamp. So you're increasing the volume of the kick over here before it gets to the mixer, and then when it gets to the mixer, the Fruity Soft Clipper actually suppresses it, so it doesn't go above a certain threshold, which prevents your beat from clipping. I also add a soft clipper to the master track, just to clip off any undesirable. I mean, just to stop it from clipping as well. Yeah. And that just makes the kick louder instantaneously, you know what I'm saying? Okay, and then when the kick sounds louder, yeah? And then I do the same thing for my 808s, as well as side chaining. Put down the post and threshold, and then what do? We go to the 808, do the exact same thing. Go to this wrench tool, increase the volume. Don't overdo it, because like at a certain point it doesn't sound good. There you go. And that's one way to do it, one way to make a sample sound unique. Another thing you can do though is you could just go over here to the exact same sample you used, if you can still remember what it's called. Okay, I do. Right here, right? You right click it. This is another strategy you could use to like make a sample your own. You right click it, you go into open in new Slice X channel, right? You click on that, and that's gonna open Slice X for you, right? And that's gonna put the sample. That's gonna put the sample in. It's gonna put the sample over here with a bunch of slices, and then mix a channel, right? I mean, in the channel rack. So what you do is you go into Slice X, right? And you'll see here that your sample is gonna be chopped rather undesirably, in a way that you don't want it to be chopped. So what you do is, what I like to do first is this right here. I turn off auto dump, and I turn on this, I don't know what this is called, but I turn that on right here. And then I right click over here, move that down, move this up, push this up a little bit. And that's gonna make it so that at the beginning of each sample hit, each slice hit, it doesn't like clip. Well, not clip, it just sounds like a continuous loop, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound weird. I don't know how to explain it, but I think you know what I mean. And then the next thing you do, if you're trying to get like perfect slices, you go into this, you press this button over here, which is ABC, whatever, and then you go into auto slice, and then you press medium grid slicing, and that's gonna slice your beat. I mean, it's gonna slice your what's it called? It's gonna slice your loop in a nice way, in equal slices. So after you do that, you can just delete what it had put on there previously, and then just mess with it, if you can't get it right, you can just move in over here. I noticed that slice 10 over here is a little late. There's like a little bit of a delay, so that means that it's not starting at the initial transient of the sample, which is right here. So you can just move the marker close to that transient, which is right here, and that should solve the problem, low-key. Yep, problem solved. Okay, so yeah, those are two strategies, to flip samples to your liking. This is a very long video, 26 minutes, but I hope 27. I hope, this kind of helps y'all out. And I'm just going to give y'all one more gem right quick, just a quick gem. Another thing you can do, to sidechain your kick to the, your 808 to the kick. A lot of people use, what's it called? Fruity Limiter, the compressor tab on there. But like what you can do is you can just use Fruity Peak Controller. Fruity Peak Controller should be in the controller tab. Fruity Peak Controller. You unmute it. You decrease the volume. When you put the bass to 20% over here, that's gonna be the starting point. It's gonna be at 0, right? Your 808 is gonna be at 0, right? And then what you do is you right click on the 808, you head down to link to controller. On none, you click on internal controller. It should say none. You go to peak control, yeah, peak, and then you click mapping formula, and then you press inverted. And then what's this gonna do is whenever your kick hits, the 808 is gonna duck in volume. You see that? Whenever the kick hits, I'll just turn off the 808. But you see, whenever the kick hits, the 808 mixer fader ducks in volume, right? And that's just gonna make your 808, your drums more punchy, because like the kick is gonna be piercing through the mix much more easier, because the 808 is gonna continuously dip in volume whenever the kick hits, right? So then you can just fine tune this to your liking. You can mix it a bit, decrease the volume. The bass is basically the mixer fader. I don't know if you can notice whenever I move this bass knob in the peak controller, the mixer fader of the 808 goes down. So yeah, just mess with this, and then the volume determines how much it dips whenever the kick hits. So if you move this up, you get a really aggressive dip in volume. But yeah, that's how I do it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Do what you gotta do. See you next time.